Sound is working. I see that it's spinning, which is good. I got ahead of it today, and I don't hear any. And let's see if the sound is working. There it goes. Oh, get back over here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Okay, we'll start off with a little winter fun. Shot on an iPhone. Supposedly this was a great, I don't know if it's a great ad. If you didn't know it was shot on an iPhone, you wouldn't care, I don't think. But frankly, well, I play it at 2.0. I turned the sound way down. So the brother is knocking over the snowman, and I put it at fast. She saves the snowman and puts him, throws the stuff on the floor. That kid wouldn't live in my house. And puts it in the freezer and manages to get it to last all year round. And then puts it out in the yard when it finally snows again a year later. And then somebody runs it over with a bicycle, and then the family all chips in. It's all fake snow. It's styrofoam. I suppose it was low budget. Maybe they waited a year to shoot it. I don't know if they did or not. But anyway, I didn't like it much, and I don't think much of, it's kind of insulting in Wisconsin when kids don't even know that if you put a snowball in the freezer, we tried that when we were little, of course, and by the time you get to July, it's either an ice ball or it's evaporated. So I'll save you the trouble. I must be in a grouchy mood today. I don't know. I don't know if I am or not. We'll see. Okay, so let's get. Oops, I don't know if you even saw any of that. Well, we'll cut that out. Anyway, let's go on. What happens is she puts it out in the snow and then is so happy, and then somebody runs it over with a bicycle. Oops, I keep getting it backwards. I don't know if you saw that or not. Anyway, that's it. It was a fake snowman. And as usual, I have struggle after a few days off. So there's the picture of the snowman. And let's get over to Tom Fishburne. We'll have a better time. We need some comments out there and say, whoa, you're a mess today. Okay, let's go. So now we're going to see Tom Fishburne. And he's got, this is today's, it says spam, spam, spam. And I don't exactly get it because I've never seen spam cards at the local Piggly Wiggly. An offer just for you. I'm sure you're busy. Did you see my email? Yeah, that's one of those, my favorites. You ignored my first, second, third, fourth, but why are you ignoring me? Circle back. So anyway, I don't understand. I wrote Tom the other day and I said it's not fair that your cartoons are so funny. This one I didn't get, but that's probably on me. Anyway, Brian Barnett suggested a few years ago from Wired, and I like Wired a lot, that Cyber Monday is the perfect day to battle annoying emails. So today, more than any other, you'll have them all piled up in one place because they're all trying to email you for Cyber Monday. So embrace the season's true gift, all the emails you've been meaning to unsubscribe from. And I may email you not because not because I'm trying to sell you something on Cyber Monday, but because we have a webinar tomorrow at I think 2 o'clock. Can't read that. Got to tell the style consultant to make the type bigger. That's what we always used to say, make the type bigger. And the artists hated that. Anyway, so Fishburne then goes over to talk about what Seth Godin said more than 20 years ago. I wrote an article in 1995 when I saw email coming, and I said, so 26 years ago, and I said, the less expensive the contact, the less care anybody has, whether it's going to the right people. And that's couldn't be more true with email. But anyway, so Seth says permission marketing is not the privilege or right or, the legal authority to send somebody a message. It's sending relevant messages to people who actually want to get them. So we welcome your unsubscribes at WDMA.org. If you don't want to get smarter and you don't want to learn marketing, that's fine with me, because we have a really great group that does come, and we all learn something from each other. Anyway, treating people with respect is the best way to earn their attention. Permission marketers understand that when someone chooses to pay attention, they are actually paying you with something precious. That's true. If you open it, although I've been learning that if you just click on it, it thinks you opened it, even if you didn't look at it. Real permission is different from presumed or legalistic permission. Just because you somehow get my email address doesn't mean you have permission. Just because I don't complain doesn't mean you have permission. And just because it's in the fine print of your privacy policy doesn't mean it's permission either. Well, you know, all of this is true. And on the other hand, you know, I grew up learning about that I'd walk a mile for a camel, or that Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. I didn't give my permission. They were paying for my show, whatever that was. So not all advertising requires permission. That's part of it. Part of how do you know you want it if you've never heard of it? And how do you hear about it unless someone tells you? And how does somebody tell you unless they tell you without your permission? That's part of what advertising is. So I'm not exactly sure. Not only don't I think this one's very funny, but you know, if you want to unsubscribe, great. But there might just be something that you could really learn from. Like this webinar tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to get bigger mail budgets. We're going to talk about how to talk to your CFO. And most marketers just don't know anything about that. Maybe they skipped accounting. You know, somehow I got through college without one accounting course. Wasn't that hard, actually. I took a lot of other courses. Anyway, and over here, 40% of marketers believe they need more training. So it's a pittance if you're not a member. We did get a member last Friday. I was so tickled by that. And for somebody from Wisconsin. So if you're a member, it's free. But if you're not, well, then you got to chip in a little bit, which is fair, I think. 9 out of 10 marketers are optimistic in the UK about the role of marketing, but 40% of respondents were not convinced they had the skills necessary to thrive in their role. And I would say way more than 40% of marketers don't understand the fundamentals of accounting. And so it's as boring as that sounds, we'll talk about why it matters and how you can figure it out and how you can show your CFO how marketing actually is an investment in the future. So anyway, over here, this one was an interesting article on the drum, Thomas Damon Brouch, and he said, data privacy is an inalienable right. And I don't know where that comes from. You know, read the Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal, endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights. I don't think the creator gave us the right to data privacy. You know, I think we have the right not to have unreasonable search and seizure. So you could call that privacy, and maybe this comes under that. But it's certainly not an inalienable right. Plus, I'm not even sure the creator gave us inalienable rights. Haskell Fain, one of my professors, said that he believed in inalienable responsibilities. In other words, when you have a right, if you have a right to this, I pay rent, right? So we have a contract. So if I don't pay the rent, the landlord has a right to kick me out. If I pay the rent, I have the right to stay, okay? So responsibilities and rights you have an obligation, you have a right. There's a kind of a parallel there, quid pro quo. But the problem is, you know, if I say I have, you know, like we have an obligation to help the poor. I think we do. I think we really do. And I think we have a responsibility as a society and individuals to provide care, which means even medical care. Does that mean people have the right to demand, or even, you know, if we have the obligation to provide for the poor, does the poor have the right to knock off a Nordstrom's when they feel a little that we're taking too much time or something? No, I don't think so at all. And so that's why I agree with Haskell Fane, that we have inalienable responsibilities. We have responsibilities to be good stewards of data. The other thing I think is funny is that, according to this, better data leads to better understanding of consumers. To some extent, maybe. Although I don't know what I want next, so data is limited in that. But consumers more and more expect brands to know them and provide personalized ads and experiences. Well, they may expect that, but like I said, if I don't know what I want next, then you don't know what I want next. And you're out of luck, right? So, guard your privacy all you can. I would say that's reasonable. Over 90% of consumers protect their data with two-factor authentication. Ad blockers, blocking cookies, using VPNs are the most often cited measures. I think it's a good battle. Let's fight about it. If somebody came in my house and started looking in my cupboards and in my bathroom cabinet and said, oh, look at all the stuff you use. Why don't you use X? Why don't you use Y? Why do you use Z? I don't know that would help them sell anything. So think the same way in data. Anyway, I wanted to touch on this one just because it goes along with this. Doug and Polly say, how to find a marketing mix that works for your small business. I launched my new business. What do I do? How do I market? First of all, market somehow that results in sales. Absolutely. Tell people what you're selling and why it's good. Okay? Don't get too elliptical like that Apple ad. Direct mail is successful for some types of businesses. Usually it's even like Sharper Image. I've got my Sharper Image catalog right here with the cozy comfort. Sharper Image did not start off mailing a catalog. Very, very few companies start off that way because it costs a fortune. At $1 a piece, you mail 1 million catalogs, or you mail 100. When we used to launch catalogs, we used to say you got to mail at least 250,000 just to know what's going on, because at 5,000 per piece, that's only, I don't know what, that's only 50 lists or something, 50 segments total, and that's not very many to know what your market's about. And I don't know if that's even right. Let's see. Yeah, that might be right. Okay, so anyway, so Sharper Image started with little classified ads for running watches. That's how the guy started, Larry. Intense public relations. If you really have something that's unique, and especially if it goes along with some trend, like it reduces carbon emissions. Not that I'm interested in that, but a lot of people are. So the first question is, why should a prospective customer buy my product or service rather than a competitor's? That's a great question. If you can't answer that question, you shouldn't be buying ads. It's unlikely that very many prospective customers will buy your product if you can't even articulate why they should. Right, so think about that. That's a great question to ask yourself. And then, is there a segment of the market that would value the things that differentiate my product or service? Is it large enough to support my business? And like that new member, mails to a very, very small niche and but has been in business for about 15 years, I think. What is the most cost-effective way then to reach that segment? Sometimes it's not easy. Just because you know that there's a lot of people with back pain doesn't mean you can just go get a list of people with back pain. It doesn't work quite that way. And that's part of the fun of marketing, is thinking about that data issue. So you want to be able to solve a problem, and you want to be able to solve a big problem, and hopefully you want to make some margin. And that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. I don't know what that picture is about. So have a great day. Go over to wdma.org to find us, and that's in the upper corner over here, up there, up in that corner. It'll say that there's an event coming, and as I said, if you're a member, it's free. There's a free ticket available. If you're not, we'd like to have you chip in. That would be great. Or join the WDMA. That would be even better. So have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Bye-bye.